Welcome back to this tutorial on financial modeling using Kaluta projection methodology. Now we are going to learn about how referencing in Excel formula is interpreted. It is very important to learn this before we proceed. So I dedicate this tutorial for this element. Now let me add a sheet so that I can demonstrate that. And as I said, to add a sheet, just click on the plus button to the bottom left corner here. I click, and then the sheet has been added to the right of where I was, called sheet 1. I click on the sheet name to rename it. So I'm renaming it formula referencing. References. Okay, so let us take an example here. Say we have let me double tap to start typing. I have a product, and then I have quantity, and then I have price, and then I have value. So product, say product A, and then product B, and then product C, and then product D. Quantity, say 20, 30, 42, 55. That's the quantity of the product. And product price, say 2,000 Tanzanian shillings, 3,000, 4,000, 8,000. So we now want to compute the value. So computing the value, I'll click on the value sheet here and then put an equal sign. Let me go to this. So I put equal sign, and then I click on the quantity column on the B3 here. This is quantity, and then multiply by price, and then I press enter. Okay, so I have got my value. Now by default, Excel formulas are made to assume relative references. Okay, so I will explain this after I drag my first formula below. So I have computed this formula for value, this function of value, which is quantity multiplied by price, you get value. Now I want to copy this formula below, so I can, let me get out of this first. Okay, so I click on this one and then use copy, and then I come down here and then I select these three cells. To select, you simply take the cycle to the right and then drag it down, sorry. Yep. So I have selected those and then I paste formula. Okay, else instead of copying and paste, what I could do, so let me go back by using a back arrow to the top right corner here. You see the back arrow, so I click on this back arrow to remove, okay, just here. So alternatively, instead of copying and pasting as I did, I can simply click on this to open up a local menu, and I use fill, and then I will fill this down. This is the way I prefer to use. Okay, so by relative reference here, for example, if you click on the first formula and you look at the function on the function bar on top, let me click at the end of the formula here so that we can see what has been done. We see, so it has taken B3 multiplied by C3. That is the first one. If I click on the second one and go to click there again, I see it has taken B4 multiplied by C4. So you can see it moves from column to column numbers. In terms of numbers, we started with B3 C3, now we are in B4 C4. Then if we go down, we'll be in B5 C5. If we go down, we'll be in B6 C6. Okay, so this is the relative referencing. When you drag the formula, by default Excel will apply relative referencing on that formula. And for this example, this is completely okay, and in most cases this is the scenario you will encounter when you use Excel. That's why it is by default. Now let's make another scenario here. Say customers. So instead of product here, I start with customer. And in the customer, I can just copy this. I select this one, copy this, and then paste it here. So it is just the same. I paste it here. Customer, and then quantity they bought, I can just copy this also. Now it is the same product. Instead of different products here, the product is the same, and these are the quantities. Now I just copy these ones. These are the quantity that each customer has bought. So I paste it here. So we have this for quantity purchased. Now, because it is the same product, so it has the same price. Let's say the price here is 1,000. Okay, so the same price applies for all products. Now, to get the value in this case, let us start by putting a formula there equal to 20, this is the quantity, multiplied by 1,000, that is the price of the product. Okay, and then I press enter. That is completely fine. Okay, but in this case you cannot copy and paste or drag this. Let me click on the cell to open the local menu, and then click on fill and then drag it down. So you cannot copy the formula, as you can see here. It is okay for the first one because it has picked B10, that is the quantity for A product, multiplied by C9, which is the price of this product. If we go to the second here, let's see what it has picked by clicking on the formula at the end of the formula here on the formula bar. So we see that it has taken B11, which is okay in this case for the quantity, but it has taken C10 instead of C9, which is the price. Okay, and this is the relative reference, because when you move down it also moves. So the formula does not pick where it picked before. So this is the relative reference. Now, to fix this so that you can drag the formula and save time, instead of typing for each item separately as we did in the first A product, what we do now is go back to the A product there in the formula. Now we need to make this price or this cell for a price to be with an absolute reference. That means we lock this cell. Whenever we drag the formula, it should pick from this cell only, that is C9. Okay, so to do that, you need now to use, if we were using a laptop, it could have been easier because we could just use F4 function to put here in this formula. We could just use F4 functions at C9 here in order to put $ before and before, that is before C and after C, so that we lock both. We lock the column and we lock the row, so that we only have one cell only. It is locked. One cell is locked. We cannot move out of that cell because we have locked both the column and the row. Okay, so because we are using Android, we don't have, I don't know, maybe it's there but I don't know, the F4 function, and it is very cumbersome for, and probably I don't know also how to put $ before and after C. I can do it before, For example, if I go to this one and if I go back here, so I can put a dollar sign there before by using I can put a dollar sign, but putting a dollar sign after C, then that is a challenge to me. I don't know. Okay, in this case I could do. So I went there, and then I should also put a dollar sign. So that one has agreed. So I have locked now my cell C9. So this time now I can drag the formula. So I click a fill, I can drag now this formula down. You see? So it has picked. If you go here to the B product now, it's okay because it has picked B11, which is the quantity for B, and price remains at C9. And as I said, this is just one product, so it has only one price. And if you go to C, the same, it has picked for B12, that is for C, quantity for C, multiplied by C9, which is the price. So the price, the formula, cell C9 is locked, so we are referencing it anytime, and the column and the column for quantity is not locked, so it is relative reference. That's why when we move from one cell to the other, we also change the position of the cell referencing. Okay, so that is another explanation on how the absolute and relative reference on Excel formula is used. Now let us go to another example, and this is the example we used on inflation index, but I want to put it simple structure here. So let's say I have year 0, and I can fill this up to year 5, year 4, year 5. Yeah, that's enough for demonstration. And we have inflation rate here. Inflation rate, I double tap on column header to expand this column so that it fits the inflation rate. So I double tap on the column header hey on top. Okay, so inflation rate, let's use the same we used earlier to do our financial modeling for inflation index, and this one is going to be true, so I feel going to remain the same inflation index the rest of our projection period. And so we are now computing inflation index. Inflation index, which is Let me double tap again. For year 0, it is 1, because year 0 means now. So it is 1. And year 1, so here we can put a formula, put equal to this one, previous, multiply by, put the bracket, 1 plus 1 plus this inflation rate on top here, and then close the bracket and then press enter. So that is the growth rate formula to cover, to gross up the inflation rate by 5%. So I can fill this or copy and paste the same to the rest because it is applicable. Now let us take our first case here that we have products. We have product. Let me copy this one, copy and then paste it down here, paste. So we have products A, B, C, D. Inflation, the price of these products. Okay, we can take the same price we use here. Price. Let me just copy this one we use here. Copy and then paste them here. Paste them here. So we have product A, B, C, and D, and at the base here, these are the prices. Okay, now we want to adjust the prices for inflation. Okay, so let us start with A first, without considering others. If I put a formula here and say the price multiplied by inflation rate and then enter, that is right for this cell C18. The formula is right, but I cannot drag this formula by applying the copy or paste or applying the fill handle to the right. It will not be right. Why? For example, if I click here, let's see what it has taken. It has taken C18 multiplied by D17. So instead of applying the inflation index on the original price, that is 2000, it has applied the inflation index on the price, adjusted price for year 1, which is not right, because the inflation index is computed from the base price, from the base year. Okay, so to correct that, we will need now to fix, to lock cell B18, that is the base price, so that whenever we drag this formula it will always pick on B18, that is the base price. So again, back here in this formula, I will have to use this one, so that you use these arrows to go back. So if I use now, say, that one, $, and then move this, put another $sign there to lock it absolutely. Okay, so this is an absolute locking, so that we will always be referring to base price 2000 when we drag, and then we fill this formula now, and let's see what will happen. Okay, so this one will be okay for this case, product A only. So if you go to, for example, here, you will see it has taken the base price, that is 2000, multiplied by inflation index for year 2. If you go here, it has taken the base price for product A multiplied by inflation index for year 3, and so on until year 5. So it is okay. But you cannot drag this formula. For example, if I say now, I select all this, okay, and then I drag it down by fill, and then drag it down so that it applies to others, this one will not work. Why? For example, if you click here, you will see how the formula has reacted. It has taken base price for product A while we are at product B, instead of picking base price for product B, because we have used absolute reference on the formula that we have dragged down. Okay, absolute reference on product A base price. So wherever we go, it will always be picking absolute, the base price for product A, and then multiply by even the inflation rate is not applied here. For example, inflation rate in this case has been taken to be the figure here in D20, which is not right, because the row for inflation rate should be D16 in this case. Every time when you want to refer to inflation, it should be on row 16. So we will need to lock row 16, so that we always pick row 16, and we will need to lock column B, so that we always pick on column B. So to change our formula now so that it can be dragged down, I come here. Instead of using absolute reference now, I change this. Let me click here, and let me go back to this writing part and go back here and go back to this typing pad again. Now I need to lock column B, so $sign before B is okay, because that is what I want to lock. That every time when I drag this formula, it should take the base price, but I don't need to lock row 18 in this case, because I want, when I will drag down my formula, it should take relative reference instead of absolute reference on row 18. So I'm going to remove the oh, now here is where I get the challenge by using the arrows. So what I do here is, let me retype there. So I start with the dollar sign, and then put the B, go back to this B, and then B, that is 18. Okay, so B is locked, and then it should be B18. So B18, B is locked but 18 is relative, and then multiply by C17. And here, let me adjust this also. So C is relative here. C is relative, that is C, but 18, I put a dollar sign, but row 17, that is C17 for inflation index 17. That row 17 is locked. That's why I put dollar sign on 17, but there is no dollar sign before C, because in this case it needs to be relative and reference. So I press enter. Now this one, now if I drag this, I fill this, you see still the same, and then I can also fill this one selected down. So right now it is okay. If I click anywhere, for example I click here and see what the formula has done, it has taken the product, the base price for product C, and then multiply by inflation index in year 2, which is the correct one. If you take here, it has taken the base price for product B multiplied by inflation index for year 3. So this is how you use dollar sign to fix the absolute and relative references, so that you can use Excel efficiently in saving time. Because just imagine typing each row its formula and you've got millions of products. That will not be possible, okay? And that's why we have Excel. So this component I've seen is important for you to learn, because we are going to use it a lot in this financial modeling. And of course we have already started to use it when we created inflation index as lesson 1, and when we were adjusting the cells value with inflation. Okay, we were not adjusting cost of sales because cost of sales were derived from the value of sales. That means cost of sales assumptions we did was 70% of sales value. Now sales value has already been adjusted by inflation, so we cannot adjust cost of sales by inflation. Okay, so that's why we did that. So thank you for listening, and from now we will proceed with further elements to be added in our financial modeling. Come and follow up other tutorials as they are added. Subscribe so that you get notified whenever I share a new content. Feel free to comment and ask anything you want to ask below this or any other tutorial that I have thus far shared and those that I will share later. So feel free to interact and ask your questions. After I have done enough number of these tutorials so that you are well versed with the whole financial modeling and you will be flexible enough to do any type of financial modeling, then I will start to introduce requests for those who want to prepare financial modeling for their businesses, and the only condition will be that you should allow that business model that I will develop to be presented in this channel so that others can also learn how to do it. So that will be the only condition. And of course I will check what area, what type of business is that, so that we have different type of business financial modeling for different type of businesses, so that people can simply see what industry are they in and what is their area of interest in financial modeling. So thanks guys for listening. Bye for now.